to the November 14th meeting of the November 14th meeting of the Finance Committee. Michelle is still out recovering from her accident, so we are happy to have Penny here in her place. Do you guys have any administrative remarks? Penny, just...
And I could just jump in here too. We had mentioned last month, and we were still, unaware of her return date, that the questions, would be answered when Michelle returned. So we're still in that status. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay.
Ongoing questions, Michelle will be working on and will share when she returns.
Sure. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Public comment. Cindy the Intrepid, how are you? Good.
Cindy Spurtle, 106 Valley Forge Terrace, Wayne. Good evening. Patty, you do such a terrific job of understanding all of our comments, but if I may, to the minutes from last week, just make a change, because I read one of my questions, and it didn't make any sense. So I went over and reviewed it. And that is the second question, if the committee receives the information on board agenda items. And the question was really additional information on contracts and gifts that was not provided to the public. Thank you. And on the agenda and what is to be covered, the list of November board agenda items is where I have some questions. And under the approval for, this is, I believe, something new to the committees, that you're adding this list of items to be approved in the November business meeting. The first item, the Liacouras Center contract for graduation, a question on the cost to the district for that contract, but also after talking and discussing last year's graduation ceremony in the Liacouras Center, I had a question as to whether or not there were closer venues considered, or if there were any other venues in our area, maybe Eastern Cabrini, that would be large enough to house that. After speaking with many parents of students who were graduating, trekking on into the Liacouras Center, and parking, etc., for graduation was not their favorite thing to do. So my question is to whether or not there was a survey taken or anybody considered what the parents of the graduates.
My understanding last year was that was the only place we had available to us at the time we booked that was adequate to the crowd.
Okay.
And Ken, I think, I thought it went well. Ken, I think, you may have to comment on this, but my, in terms of re-upping with them, I think our experience was very positive just in terms of the way things ran. It's not as convenient as hopping over to Villanova for sure, but Villanova is not available this year.
Well, that I understand.
And I believe that alternative venues were pretty well investigated, and there's just no place large enough. That was my understanding, unless anything has changed.
Yes, that's correct. That a year ago they vetted many different locations. Mr. Bechtold again this year went to the students and talked to the students, and they again looked at different options and vetted and discussed that. Overall, the response that we have received from parents was actually overwhelmingly positive. People felt that it was very positive. Yes, people would like to be closer, but in understanding the dilemma that we were in with Villanova, that everything that the Liacouras Center offered us worked very well last year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my understanding
Thank
as well.
you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Approval of disposals, and this is something that, and Penny had answered this the last time on the dollar amount that's actually earned throughout the year is about $1,000. But wondering if it's difficult to put together a careful accounting of the disposals, thinking it might be a positive report for the district. In other words, such and such was donated to this area of need, or that type of thing. To give us an idea of exactly, this breaks down exactly what's going to be disposed of, but where these end up, if that's not a difficult proposition, is to put
Probably
an
is.
accounting together. Pardon me?
I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know, I can't possibly speak to that.
And then another
I'm
question.
reluctant to add, nice to know, but, non-essential work to,
Okay. And the other
People with a
question
lot
is
on
on
their
the compensation of the substitutes for this coming year. Whether or not, what's the dollar amount that the subs are being paid? I've heard that that has changed, and if it has changed, was that voted on by the board? Because I don't remember it being brought before the board.
I mean, we went through all that.
It was not
yeah.
changed this year.
Yeah.
Same as
They're
last
still earning 110?
year. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we voted
Unless
on
it's
that, it
15,
hasn't
on the
changed.
15th consecutive day, it's 150.
No. Okay.
No?
Well, there was okay, I'll let it go at that for now.
What's the matter?
An email sent out that the dollar amount had changed for Source for Teachers for Radnor School. So my question is whether or not support staff,
Support staff went to a half/full day instead of hourly. That was an addendum that was voted on at the last board meeting.
okay, okay, the $98 and $49
Yeah, that's for a para for support. That's not, the teacher rate is the same as last year.
for substitutes.
For substitute teachers, substitute paras, we went to a half-full-day rate instead of an hourly rate.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Did you have something on the disposal?
I don't know that it would be that difficult to do if we did it as items come up.
Going
But
backward.
to going forward, are we listed, does that mean to list every book? Because I have pages of every library book that's being disposed of, the condition that they're in,
No.
If it was just library books, this is where they went. You certainly could add that. I don't believe that would be too complicated.
We have too much to do anyway right now, especially with Michelle.
I'm not volunteering myself.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Ever find yourself with nothing to do?
Exactly.
All right. It looks like our public has made its comment, right? Sarah, do you have anything? All right, approval of minutes?
So I'd like to just move that we approve the minutes as amended, which is, there's a couple of words, Patty, that I think that Mrs. Spurtle added. She had wanted the word additional in there prior to the word information. So other than that slight amendment, I would be fine with the minutes.
All right. Okay, agenda item number 1, medical rates. This ought to be fun.
We received the first look from Gallagher at the last DICU meeting, and the increase at this time at the first look is 10.42%.
I have a 30, so I'm just thrilled with 10. Wow.
Mine is much higher than that.
Yeah, way higher. Okay.
Yeah.
10 point what?
10.42, and
Okay.
historically they go down, but time will tell.
Mine's at 30. Okay.
All right. Is there anything more on that?
I'd say that,
Yours is 8?
well, they got me last year.
When's
Mine
the,
was 30 last year, and it's like, 16 or something this year.
Oh, no, mine's 30. When's the change for, the plan changes, the consortium, that's not happening yet, right?
The plan changes take in effect whenever a new agreement is signed.
Okay.
So depending how long a contract is, some people may still have that, but the new plans of 10 go into effect whenever a new contract is signed.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
All right. All right, moving right along. Act 93 agreement.
We're proposing that the board approves an Act 93 one-year extension. Their agreement expired June 30th of 2017. In that extension, we would request that it is a 2.3% raise for this current year retro back to July 1 of 17. This agreement would go through June 30th of 18. And because it is a new agreement, they would have to go to one of the new health care plans through the Health Trust.
Generally speaking, is that at a cost savings to us?
It's pretty neutral. Could be a couple dollars more.
Okay. but not much.
No,
All
it's
right.
nothing drastic. Michelle, unfortunately, she's not here. She would know those specifics more than I.
We agreed to it. so-
We agreed to
I
it,
was just
so.
saying, I was in the room to negotiate. I agree to it.
It's as much.
I agree with
we
what I negotiated.
Brought it forward to the public that we will be acting on it this month. So yes,
Got
yeah,
it.
we weren't looking for a lot of questions from
Thank you.
the three of you.
Okay.
Well, let's just clarify, though, we did say that we would probably start renegotiating in earnest after the beginning of the new year.
Correct.
But we appreciated that Act 93 kind of let us, deal with this now in a retro kind of way and keep moving forward. Great, thank you.
Okay. The next agenda item, update on the collection of the 1718 real estate taxes.
Yes, the collection rate at this time is, well, at the end of October, which is the end of face period. The district collected $69,151,063.11. It's a 91%, which is a little bit down from last year's at this time. But often it's just a timing issue. People's finances, it's nothing to be concerned about.
All right. And, again, that's a very significant number for anybody who is paying attention, not in the room, because that is our local revenue, and that is what allows us to continue to operate. And that was certainly one of the issues addressed in the ballot question that was on for last week. Okay, thank you. All right, I just lost my place.
Agenda items for,
Okay, this is for the board meeting. Item number 4, November board agenda items. We've already talked about the Liacouras Center.
Could I ask a quick question about that, though? So I didn't open, if there were attachments, I didn't open them. Do we have a dollar amount on the Liacouras contract, or are we not at liberty to discuss it?
No, we do. I just don't know it off the top of my
Yeah,
head. I'm not
we don't
sure.
get the things that are high linked.
Penny has it.
Okay, can you, Mike? Thank you.
The flat rate is $11,500 for next year.
Okay,
And we didn't not to exceed because the add-ons from last year were the parking garage, and then there's stagehands. And the cost will vary, I guess, according to how many stagehands you will need. Last year, this cost ended up being around $17,000.
total.
Total.
Okay, so let me just say, because I'm sure that this is the world where we're never going to please everyone, but for my part, it took me less time to get down to Liacouras for a 4 o'clock graduation than I know it has taken people to get to Villanova for a 6 o'clock graduation. Because the traffic on Lancaster, it took me 25 minutes. And it has taken 25 minutes to get to Villanova from Wayne for the 6 o'clock graduation. So my question is, are we still planning on 4 o'clock?
That I do not know.
Okay. I mean, that would be something to ask, because the timing really helped families. It helped the band get back. They have school the next day. They had finals and whatnot. That did work well, the earlier time. Just straight up, straight up. The straight up earlier time worked better for students who had finals the next day, people who wanted to go to dinner. And I do know that, pardon?
she said it is, yes.
Yeah, it's at 4, great.
It's in the contract.
And, I do know, because as a senior parent, Dan was very, communicative. They really did search far and wide and high and low for an alternative site, so.
And parent feedback over the parking was actually very positive. I mean, the parking garage, and then you could walk right across the bridge
Right.
into the center. So there was a lot of positives about that.
Penny, just so I'm clear, it's $11,500 not to exceed, and those other extras that we paid last time, we're not paying? Is that right?
No, what's the not to exceed?
The floor is 11.5, right?
The floor is 11.5, that's just to rent the facility. But the add-ons last year, because when we got the contract, Jackie did look up to see what the discrepancy was in the cost, because it was such a variance. But the parking garage ended up costing $6,400 last year, and then there was a per-person fee for the stagehands. That's not in this base contract.
It's not in this.
No,
it's
so what's the
plus.
not to exceed? That's my question. I think that's Susan's question, is what is the not to exceed?
Well, because you had, I'm just looking, you had not to exceed, and
said.
I had plus extras.
Great.
Give us some cushion.
So why don't
Okay.
you say that on camera, just so we hear it?
So an additional $10,000 to the 11.5?
So it's a not to exceed 21.5?
Correct.
But we don't expect it to go that high. Actually, let me just say, last year's senior class was quite large, so the number of people in attendance and the parking and all that was larger than I think they are expecting for this year's senior class. So that should help with the not to exceed. But I think that was smart to budget that way. Great, thank you.
All right, good. Okay. Is there anything else here? Attorneys and a donation? Thanks to the Penn Health System for the donation. And, all right.
Great.
Yes. And some of these books will be donated and some will be destroyed. They're in poor condition.
Got it.
There we go.
All right, well then, 7:25,
New business?
new business.
Sorry.
Any further public comment?
Okay.
Don't
Well,
turn the
we're
opportunity.
adjourned.
I do believe,
We're adjourned.
I do believe
Do you have
we're,
anything else, Cindy?
We're
I do
adjourned.
believe that's the shortest finance committee meeting of my entire career.
Woohoo, well done.
Your last one.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.